Have you ever had that moment where you think of somebody, you start thinking of someone and then ding, get a text message from them? I think many people start to recognize their intuition awakening and getting stronger when they have moments like that. And this is not just you thinking about it, you're actually picking up the energy of that person infiltrating your field. Yes, I said infiltrating. Does that worry you? Does that scare you? Let's go into this. So many people have this experience when they're first starting to work on their spiritual gifts and train their intuition. And it's probably one of the, I want to say, most awesome ways to train your intuition as well. There's different layers of feeling body's energy into your energetic aura. One of them is starting to, you just start thinking about them or that person, and then you get a text message or you hear from them the next day, or then somebody tells you that they were talking about you or anything like that. You were feeling and sensing them on your aura, on your energy field. Some people call it telepathic communication. However, telepathy and feeling somebody's energy are actually two very different things. People call it telepathy when you're thinking about somebody and then you get a text message from them. However, they're actually two very separate, different intuitive gifts. When you think of somebody or feel them, you're actually tuning into their energetic aura. Sometimes you can feel them reach out to you before you're even consciously aware of them, or you become conscious that it's them. For example, when I feel certain people, and I found there's different layers of how you recognize different people as well. So for example, with somebody who I've been intimate with in the past, like an ex or something like that, I'll tend to sort of almost whole body start doing their mannerisms or talking, and I'll be like, get out, okay, clear my energy. Dragon, spirit guide, please help clear my energy. Those pieces. But I'll do the whole mannerisms. Where if I'm just, thinking about a family member, or it's like, oh, my family member. Oh, and then, oh, my family member. And then I just take that moment, and it's almost in those moments I'm also asking for more information. I don't technically ask these days, but you can ask like, oh, why am I thinking of them? What is the message? And it was like, oh, and then you might get an idea or a memory or something that's happened recently, and you're like, oh, that's what it's about. And it can feel really heavy if it's sort of like a not positive situation, right? For me, it feels really heavy. Then I'll get the message about what that's about, and I was like, okay, trust. The most important thing is that when you're tuning into that is trusting the messages you receive when you ask for more information. So for example, in our psychic development class in Trust Intuition this morning, one of my students had mentioned that she was thinking of someone who's unwell, and she's like, oh, do I need to call them? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? And the thing that I really recommend is that when you are sensing somebody is to, and you receive that information, is to just give it 24 hours. If you're not getting a clear, like, yes, you need to call them now, message, then I usually just say, just leave it 24 hours, because usually they'll contact you, or you'll find out other information. You'll be like, oh yeah, I was thinking about that. Cool, I got that information. Sometimes it's not the next 24 hours. It could be a week later. But I find that when we receive information about people, we don't necessarily need to act on it straight away. We're just sensing them. So for example, with myself, when I can really feel a certain energy, and you'll know if you're tuning into them, or if you're picking up them tuning into you or thinking about you, what have you. And if you have an online presence, I do this quite regularly, where I can feel certain people and, start thinking of them, and it'll happen out of the blue, right? So when you're taking on somebody's energy or you're sensing them before they call, it is that, you'll be just doing your thing. You'll be working away, and then all of a sudden you'll just start feeling weird or foggy or cloudy, or you'll do behaviors that you don't usually do, and you'll be like, this isn't me. And the thing is that you're conscious of it. Like, you'll catch yourself in it. You're like, this isn't me, then you're just like, well, who is this, right? An awesome mantra to start clearing the energy and figuring out if it's you or somebody else. It's not mine. 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 And when you work with that mantra, when it's not mine, it's not mine, it's not mine, it really clears, and it will separate from you. If it doesn't, then you need to look deeper on, okay, maybe there's something going on internally for me. It can be a shadow projection, trigger, etc. But most of the time you can separate yourself enough to go, oh yeah, that's such and such. Okay, what is that about? Or what is that information about? Now, again, you don't need to act on it straight away. But for me, with my online presence, if I feel certain people, or if I feel someone and I can sense that it's them and I'm clear about who I think it is, then I'll usually just sort of have a look. Or if I'm not getting a clear message, I'll just have a quick look, did I get a message from somebody, who is, looking at me, just, not all the time, but sometimes I can pick that up, or I get that sense, or a week later I get an email and I'm like, yeah, I was picking that up. Thank you very much. And part of this is obviously training, right? In Trust Intuition, I give you all the tools to get really clear, and exercises, and clearing out the things that are blocking your intuition as well, and understanding what the difference is between intuition and how you receive intuition to what I do, and all those pieces. So that's Trust Intuition, link in the description, okay? And then part of it is also that this is a practice. This is something that you pick up over time, and training your intuition on this, on all these little facets. Now, when you work with me one-on-one and you have experiences, and then I'll be like, that's that, and I'll pick it apart for you, and you learn it 10 times quicker. And you're like, yeah, awesome. So if you know I'm the mentor for you, my Life Purpose Accelerator is where you work with me. Link in the description under work with me there. So when we pick up energy like this, as I said, there are different layers to your intuition of picking up people and being clear on it. As I said, it's a skill, it's a muscle, it's a training that happens. And it is about, as I always talk about, if you want to be an Olympic swimmer, you're going to need to learn the basics of how to swim. And then you're going to get a trainer and a mentor to be able to take you to the whole yards, right? To the Olympics. Working with me as your mentor enables you to be at that level of the clarity and understanding. And usually at this level, you've got a message to share something like this with the world. It doesn't have to be intuition. You don't have to get a moon on your forehead. And it can also be amplifying your intuitive skills to work in your current business, to expand that. You don't even need to tell people that you're expanding intuitively and working on that. But this is what I do with my clients, to be able to have your depth of clarity and understand your intuition, so that you can amplify that in your business, because I guarantee that you already do something that is a very successful business. You're really freaking good at it, and you can feel, if you're watching this and have found yourself here at this moment in time, your soul is pushing you to the next level, but it's a different, unique level in your business. You don't have to be intuitive in your, on the front in your business, but your intuition is going to help amplify and allow that soul-led business idea to drop in. Life Purpose Accelerator, link in the description there. There's different levels. I was just thinking of them and I got a message. Freaky about that. When you start not being freaky and know that it's your gift, okay? So it's sort of level 1, surface level. Okay, cool, I was thinking about them, then I got a message from them. Okay, got it. As you grow in your gifts and your skill and the clarity and your intuition, you start to experience it on a 3D or 4D experience. It goes from thinking to, I got a text message, like a sort of a 2D experience, if you may, to then 3-dimensional and 4th-dimensional levels of intuition. So at the 4th dimensional, I don't even know if it's 4th dimensional, but it kind of feels like that as I'm talking about it. So when I receive a feeling from somebody, I'm very clear, and it hits on the outside of your aura. Now, as I always talk about, if you don't have the spatial awareness, the energetic and intuitive awareness, that when somebody's thinking about you or talking about you and it hits you on the outside edge of your aura, and your spidey senses, like your brain will automatically, like a spider in a web, will be like, oh, what's that? Now, if you're not that conscious of something hitting you on the outside edge of your aura that's not yours, and this is where you need to know yourself and be clear in your intuition and your energetics and your aura and your fields, okay, and your chakras, and understand that on such a deep, have this deep relationship with yourself, which is what you do in Trust Intuition. So link in the description for Trust Intuition. When you know yourself on a deep level, you have that awareness. When it hits you, the spidey will run out and be like, oh, what's that? Now, if you're not clear of, oh yeah, that's not me, who's that? Okay, and then you travel it, you follow all the information, which is like the next step. If you don't catch that, your spider will go, oh, that feels like, and pull up this memory from your memory bank, from all the lifetimes and all the experiences of this life, and go, that's what it is. And you'll start ruminating and pulling up all this old stuff, and it's not even yours. It's not even yours. Now, given there's a bit of a fine line there, because if it does pull up and you are triggered by it, then that's the deeper thing you need to look at for you. But sometimes we can be clouded and confused, and then we're taking on all this stuff and we're trying to do it in our business. We wonder why our business isn't working, because we've actually just taken on all this information, and it can just be from scrolling your favorite mentors on Instagram because you don't know what to do in your own soul business, and you haven't disciplined and trained your channel to channel what you're meant to do. Okay, if you haven't watched my discipline video, then that would be something to check out there. When you haven't trained and be clear about your own message, you're going to take on everybody else's message and you're going to try and channel that and wonder why it's not working, because you need to find your unique purpose, not a clone and a copy of somebody else. Clone and copying, you know, I want to say is a way that we then discover who we are. So don't feel bad if you start doing that in the beginning, like you're meant to, okay? And then you might just continue doing it because it's what you're being guided to do, right? But it's like, don't be afraid to do what you're being called to do and then expand from that. Your aura is like an energetic Wi-Fi, and it picks and receives signals and catches things like a spider web, and also sends energy too. This is your signal, your radar. If it's clear, grounded, and healed, in the commas, because, you know, there's always layers, you'll receive the messages clearly. You'll know yourself. And this is what we do in Trust Intuition to become that clear channel. So link in the description for Trust Intuition. If it's cluttered or detached from drugs or alcohol abuse or trauma or stress, then your energetic aura becomes distorted. In our aura psychic development class this morning, it became very clear that being grounded with your aura was very different to just being grounded in general. Many people know, just be grounded in your body, you know, put your feet on the earth, do activities that make you feel grounded, surf, yoga, whatever your grounding activities are, meditate, whatever. And yet being grounded with your aura is about not being detached from your aura. So substance abuse, for example, detaches the aura from the physical body. And that's why people do it, because their aura is full of trauma and hurts and pains and all the rips and scars and everything. And so taking substances separates their aura, and that's why they're like, oh, that's better. And as soon as substance wears off, they're like, it comes back to connect to their body, and they're like, oh my God, where's this reality? And they have it again, right? And so it separates. And so in Trust Intuition, we clear all this shit and trauma in your aura so that you don't have to go through those cycles all the time. So if you're ready for that, link in the description, you know the deal. Being grounded in your aura is not about just putting your feet on the earth and being grounded in your base chakra and being present. It's about the physical connection to your energetic body through every single chakra. So it's like a physical, it's like a skin, if you may, and how it connects into your body. And how your aura connects into your body is your nervous system. And how your nervous system is the antenna, if you may, the receiver and the transmitter to your aura and to your physical body. And now what's interesting is that everybody's talking, like the new black is talking about nervous system regulation. And your nervous system, it's kind of cool on an awakening level, because we're going through stages of awakening as the collective consciousness, and everybody's talking about how important it is to have your nervous system regulated, right? Which is, we've been at the physical density, now we're coming into the nervous system, which is, I want to say, the last, it's almost like the most spiritual part of your physical body that you can get, because then the next layer to that is the aura, is the chakras that connect through the aura, that connect to the nervous system, that can make the two stick together. Does that make sense? And so it's a bit of exciting time to being called to step into your healer career in whatever way, shape or form that is, or being a messenger of messages, spirit, teaching, having clients, etc. As we're awakening in consciousness, which we know is the deal, and is what is happening, is that we've already hit the nervous system level. Like, tell me if you haven't heard somebody talk about your nervous system has to be regulated, and this is what it's all about, right? It's, you know, it's not about the hustle culture anymore. It's about how regulated, how much money you can make with a regulated nervous system, right? And so this is because we've hit that stage of consciousness awakening where everybody is at that level on a physical 3D density as we're rising up through our ascension process, yeah? Now, what happens when we hit the next level where everybody's going to be talking about chakras and aura and how important that is to, you know, work in your business and all those sorts of things. So if you know that you don't want to miss out on this, you know, this wave, and you're being called for it, this is Trust Intuition. So Trust Intuition, link in the description, you know the deal. The next stage of thinking about someone and they're receiving a text message is it actually goes a lot deeper. And as I said, it goes into the 4D. It's like we've got 2D, is you receiving a text message. Oh, yeah, cool. Think about it. It's very clear, cognizant information. When we move to like a 4D experience, we're in our heart. Many people are clairsentient and highly clairsentient and feel everything, but they're not clear in their clairsentience. And so they can be, I don't know if too emotional is the right word. Like you're highly emotionally intelligent, but you haven't trained yourself in that yet. You're highly clairsentient, you feel everything, but you haven't trained yourself in that. That's why you get overwhelmed. That's why you feel clouded. That's why you get tired really easily. That's why you can't stay in large groups of people or be around people for very long, because you haven't learned how to regulate your nervous system. You haven't learned how to train your energetic aura, and also to have those energetic boundaries, let alone physical boundaries, that enable you to know what's your stuff and somebody else's stuff to stop you taking on, so you can be in crowded places and not take on everybody and absorb them like a sponge. The key to remember going into 4D level of receiving information is that it becomes a skill and a training, and at that level of you're regulating your own sort of boundaries with that energetically, physically, and intuitively. And when you're at that level, and the next training and the deeper level to that is that you actually can move the atomic particles of reality and literally almost like a black hole quantum jump into somebody else's reality or into yours, or receive information from that. You don't actually need to leave your body for that at all. And so when you are receiving information, it's literally all the atoms move apart, and that person's sitting right across the desk from you. They don't have to be across the world, they're literally across the desk, okay? And this is where we collapse timelines, where we collapse reality, and the reality sheaths disappear because time and space is an illusion. The part that I've noticed about myself is that when I'm picking up somebody energetically, I can usually feel it pretty clearly. It's always pretty clear. I'm like, oh yeah, that's my ex, or that's that, or oh yeah, that's that person, or I'm like, what is that? And when I can't, there's sort of different levels to the negativity, if you may. And what I've just realized in the last month really, really clearly is that when somebody is speaking negatively about me, or there's a lot of jealousy or envy, or, you know, that's really negative. I guess jealousy and envy is a pretty, negative emotion. When I'm feeling that, I don't catch it as well. I can feel a bit off, or I feel clouded, or I feel weird. And this last month experience has showed me so much that I probably won't do this anymore, but it's a really important reflection I feel called to share with you, that when I feel that negative emotion from somebody, I don't usually catch it on the outskirts, and it'll come into me and I'll just start feeling off, or like, whatever. And I can't really shift it, or I can't place it. I just feel like I'm just feeling bad today. And after this, I won't do this anymore, because it became so clear on this eclipse. I was like, wow, okay. What that actually is because when somebody either close to me or not close to me, but I have interacted with in the past, and maybe my next level of skill is just recognizing when it's someone I have never interacted with before is actually, jealous, or whatever that envy is, or what have you, or speaking negatively about me for whatever way, shape, or form, which stems from the jealousy and envy, or competition or whatever, and I've never even spoken to them before, triggering them, and they're not willing to face their own mirrors. It's what mentors do, trigger you so that you can grow. Hello, pay attention. So what I recognized it as is that because of my own big heart, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't speak bad about me. I never did anything to them. What? I didn't hurt them. Why would they speak bad about me? I didn't even know them. And because I have such a maybe open, trusting heart, that I've had to learn boundaries with that. And my standpoint is I just see the best in everyone, or, have that thing, or does it stem from my people pleasing? Does it stem from my big open heart that everyone is good on the planet and, needs to be given a chance or whatever? Yes, with boundaries and discernment, I've learned that over the years as an empath, etc. You get the point. The point is that I didn't realize that I was letting that negativity and jealousy and envy in whatever way, capacity, shape, or form infiltrate my field and make me feel bad. My little radar senses didn't go out to that, because I just maybe see the best in everyone. I'll just say, I'll have a big heart for everyone, that I didn't think that they would do that. I didn't think that they would betray me. I didn't think that they would feel like that. I didn't realize that I triggered them because I wrote a bloody blog post about being a millionaire. Do you know what I mean? And this past month over the eclipse really showed me that really clear. It was shown to me probably 4 times over the eclipse season of those times that I felt really bad, and I just thought I was overtired or whatever was that person, not even consciously directing negative energy at me on purpose, but they were bitching about me behind my back, they were gossiping, they were speaking negatively, and I don't even know that person. I heard it through the grapevine, and I was just like, wow, that's insane. And I look back through message history, and I was just like, I said no to a collaboration back in 2018, and they're still stewing on it. Okay then. And it's just like, it was a kind conversation. It was just like, no thank you, but my blinkers on, reality awareness, that's all I'm doing. Hello, if you've got a soul-led business that you're dreaming and passionate about and want to turn into an empire and change the world, you need to have your blinkers on, okay? Little tip there. So if you don't have that, you're gonna get swayed and lost in everyone else's crap, right? Blinkers on, guys, blinkers on. I'm now training myself that when I feel off, there's a difference feeling, and again, this is what we learn in Trust Intuition in module 1, because it's critical. It is critical in essence of we check in, and I do this, but now I'm, oh my God, because of my kind heart, because of my people pleasing, or I think the best of everyone or whatever, I just don't, it's kind of weird that I never thought that people would speak negatively or judge me or have this envy, jealousy because I wrote a blog about being a millionaire. Do you know what I mean? It just didn't even enter my mind, okay? And as you become more successful in your soul-led business, you're going to experience these things. It's part of the package of get used to it, deal with it, learn the skills that you can recognize that when you're feeling bad, okay, we're going to check the solar flares, we're going to check the full moon, we're going to check the eclipse, we're going to check the Schumann resonance, we're going to check how much sleep have I had, we're going to check, am I hungry? We're going to check all the things that I teach in Trust Intuition and all the energetic standpoints. And we're going to add to that list, is there someone infiltrating my field that I didn't catch, that I thought that they were a good person? They've actually been triggered at me, and they won't look at themselves in the mirror and do the freaking soul-led work that they know that they actually freaking do and teach this themselves. Hello. So they need to look in the mirror and do their deep soul triggered work. The thing is that your intuition is always switched on. Your aura is always receiving information, messages, and energy from people, places, and things. Your skill is being able to tune into your aura like a radio. That requires the traumas being healed. That requires your energetic aura being clean. That requires your energetic muscles. That requires Olympic swimming training to be at the level where you're going to catch that stuff. So Trust Intuition, link in the description for that. Over time, with practice, and with things like Trust Intuition, where I teach all of this, and we have the live psychic development classes like we did this morning. And, when we're going back forth real time on Zoom, there's so much more that comes through from this. Hence why I'm doing this video, because it was really, really profound to have that being grounded in your aura is very different to just being grounded. And also that when you are feeling off, because there's psychic attack, there's curses, but then there's also jealousy and envy, which can send psychic swords and axes and pieces like that. So it's understanding those different pieces and understanding that you can have a big open heart. You can be non-judgmental about people and think the best of them. But, if they're triggered, they're probably going to be saying things or writing negative blogs about you or whatever it is. And to really understand that energy does affect you too. You're not imagining it. You're absolutely 100% picking up energy from somebody else in some way, shape, or form, and understanding, what you need to do with that. Do I need to call them? No, just wait 24 hours and just see, because I guarantee you will be shown. Because in 24 hours, you probably would have forgotten about it. And in 24 hours, if you were meant to contact them, you would soul nudge contact them. Intuitively, you just would. If you are not meant to contact them, you probably will forget about it, get on doing your thing. And then a week later, you'll get an email, or a week later, you'll find out that information, or a month later, you'll be like, oh my God, that was what that was about. Okay, I was picking that up. Okay. And then every time these instances happen, you become stronger in your muscles, you become clearer in your intuition, you build relationship because you're training for it. Okay. In Trust Intuition, this is where the real training takes place. Link in the description for that. You're not going crazy. You're absolutely psychic. You are gifted. You are a healer, and you're here to help the world as we awaken consciousness and rapidly grow, because we're at the nervous system level now. So if you want to get in on this, don't leave it any longer, right? In 2020, I had that being come to me because I was stressing out with COVID and I was on the road, and I was like, no, I need to finish all the trainings for reality awareness and all the chakra consciousness, and I need to finish all of that. And the being, I was stressing about it because I didn't have a home at that point. I was on the road for COVID. Well, I was choosing not to be in my home. I was on the road. And the being came and sort of showed me that 10-year timeline. Some of you already know what I was talking about with that. And he said, no, the world's not ready for this level of consciousness until 2027. So we're getting close, guys. We're in 2025. We're almost about to hit Christmas. We're in 2026. So you really don't have that much longer to get on with this, to do what you know you're meant to do, to be the messenger, to be the light worker, to be the healer, because you are. It's just time to get paid for it and get paid for it well, to channel your gift and do what you love and have your own schedule, because that's what you do it for anyway. You are a rebel at heart and you're here to change the world. So it's time to own it. Remember, you can't stop consciousness awakening.
Well,